Space is an extremely interesting and intriguing topic that many scientists have been discussing for centuries. As Arthur C. Clarke said, two possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe, or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. Well, we might have a clue if we are actually alone in the universe or not, thanks to the terrifying discoveries from the James Webb Telescope. The James Webb Telescope is a highly potent instrument that is used to study celestial objects around us. Currently, the telescope is researching Pluto and finding out more about it. Thanks to the advancement in technology, scientists have discovered tons of new information about the dwarf planet, and needless to say, it is absolutely stunning. So what have they found, and how does it impact humans on Earth? Let's find out. Before we talk about what exactly the telescope found, we need to discuss a bit about Pluto to know the full context. Pluto was once considered a planet, but due to its size of only 1,400 miles wide, the International Astronomical Union downgraded the status of Pluto to that of a dwarf planet because it did not meet the three criteria the IAU uses to define a full-size planet. Essentially, Pluto meets all the criteria except one. It has not cleared its neighboring region of other object. Due to this, the total number of planets was swiftly reduced from 9 to 8. Pluto is 3.7 billion miles from the Sun on average. The temperature on Pluto ranges from -232 and 387 degrees Fahrenheit. It rotates around the Sun in a 248-year orbit. What's fascinating is that a day on Pluto lasts around 153 hours. It has 5 recognized moons: Charon, Styx, Kerberos, Nix, and Hydra. Charon is almost half the size of Pluto itself. What's more interesting about Charon is that it has a 153-hour orbit around the dwarf planet. It matches perfectly with Pluto's rotational period of 1 rotation. This phenomenon is called tidal locking, and it causes you to view the same side of the moon. Pluto doesn't have any craters. In fact, they are formed from frozen nitrogen gas. Like Earth, there are mountains on Pluto as well. However, they are not made of rock. These mountains are made of giant chunks of ice, since the temperature is so low on the dwarf planet. These are nitrogen ice glaciers that flow from pitted highlands into the basin and create valleys. It is concluded that these glaciers are a result of seasonal cycles of nitrogen ice that sublimate from ice to vapor. They move around Pluto and then freeze back on the surface, since liquid nitrogen is less dense than solid nitrogen. Any melt inside these glaciers will cause them to go to the top instead of going down like the glaciers on the Earth. When the liquid nitrogen gets to the top of the glacier, it may erupt like a geyser. The New Horizon project sent back clear images of icebergs formed and floating around Pluto. The largest glacier on Pluto stretches more than 620 miles, and it is known as the Sputnik Planitia. For perspective, this is almost the combined size of Oklahoma and Texas in the United States. If you look at images of Pluto from a distance, you might see cell-like glaciers around the planet. While they might look like cells under a microscope, they are evidence that the heat is trying to escape from underneath the glacier. The cold ice sinks while the hot ice rises up, causing cracks to appear in the glacier and giving the planet a cell-like appearance. This is certainly quite interesting to consider and extremely intriguing as well. Another interesting fact about Pluto is that there is a portion of land on the planet that resembles an ice cream cone. After more research, scientists found out that this portion is coated with ice and carbon monoxide. The geological timescale suggests that this area is at least 100 million years old. As of now, we do not know why this portion is like this. However, some speculate that it can be due to the winds that often sweep the surface of the dwarf planet. Now then, let's talk about if there can be life on Pluto. Since the temperatures are so cold on the dwarf planet, even water freezes. Due to these severe circumstances, it is impossible for life to exist. That is not to say that no life exists on the planet, It just doesn't appear as if anything can survive on it. Even though many believe that the liquid oceans of Pluto still exist today, scientists believe that they are isolated by almost 300 kilometers of frozen ice. While it might not contact the surface currently, it may have oozed through volcanic activities called cryovolcanism. Keep in mind that these volcanoes are not the same as you see on Earth. On Earth, volcanoes spit molten lava from under the ocean, as you can see in Hawaii. However, two large mountains on Pluto have deep central pits that scientists presume to be the mouth of the volcano. There are two ways Pluto could generate heat in the early stage. The most common speculation is that it generated energy from radioactive decay, which warmed the planet. Alternatively, some believe that it was hit by a nearby object, and the energy and heat from the impact spurred melting. After tons of research, the second scenario seems to be more likely than the first one. After getting a stunning image of Neptune from the James Webb Telescope, also known as the JWST, scientists are moving on to Pluto. Interest in it is at an all-time high. This is due to the latest shocking news the JWST has discovered. Scientists believe that the atmosphere on Pluto is rapidly changing, or disappearing as many experts are saying. Pluto is going through a very strange transformation, which is affecting its atmosphere. This new information was derived using a telescope in the US and Mexico. Pluto's atmosphere is supported by the vapor pressure of ice on its surface. So, if the ice on the dwarf planet warms up or melts, it can drastically change the density of the atmosphere. However, that's not the strangest thing. Ever since scientists have been observing the dwarf planet, it has been moving further and further away from the Sun for almost 25 years. Due to this, the planet is refreezing its surface as its temperature gets colder and colder. How did the scientists discover this amazing phenomenon, you may ask? They simply observed Pluto as it crossed a star. They took note of the rate at which the star came in and out of view. This lasted for about 2 minutes. With this information, they were able to calculate the density of Pluto's atmosphere. This method is known as occultation, and it is used when one cosmic object is hidden behind another one passing in front of it. The method is being used to study Pluto since the 1980s, so this is not anything new. We cannot wait for new information to come out once the JWST finds new things about the dwarf planet. With the James Webb Telescope now focused on researching more about Pluto, we will certainly find new discoveries and news about the dwarf planet. All these discoveries are extremely interesting to look at, since they give us more insight into the dwarf planet and how it might have been in the past. I find it extremely interesting what new stuff will come out about the planet, and whether it will ever be considered a planet again. Only time will tell. What are your thoughts on the subject? Do you feel like Pluto should be a planet? And what type of new discoveries are you expecting? Let us know in the comments below.